Good afternoon, everybody. I'm meteorologist Edward Shaw, and we are preparing for our Weather Authority alert day due to the fact that we have a significant winter storm that's coming into our area tomorrow, bringing in quite a bit of snowfall. But the biggest concern for me is the amount of ice that this storm is going to end up bringing to our area, as well as a little bit of a long-term flooding risk, just given how much snow melt we're going to see and how much rain we're also going to get immediately after this system. Now, the overall setup for why we're seeing this, you see that cold air wedge. That white line I drew is kind of the outline of that extent, as that cold air is locked behind most of the mountains right now. Now, that's going to be interacting with a lot of moisture that's coming up from this subtropical jet stream, and that's going to end up producing all of the snow, the ice, and the rain that we're going to see here over the next couple days. Futurecast, timing everything out for you. We start to see the first few snowflakes early in the morning, like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. early, before the heaviest snow starts up at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So likely going to see school cancellations from this, as it's going to be an all-day event. By the time we get later on into the evening, snow is going to persist throughout most of the morning, throughout most of the afternoon, and then begin to transition over to a wintry mix and a little bit of freezing rain by the time we get later on into the evening, about 9-10 p.m. And then also as we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday, about 2 to 3 a.m. You can see that freezing rain continues throughout the course of Wednesday, and we'll see a few patchy areas Wednesday into Thursday as well, which is when we're expecting our next round of rain to come into the area, which is going to increase that flood risk. You see that yellow and that dark green, heavier rainfall going to be within the area, so it's going to be a cause for concern, especially in the New River Valley, where we're likely to see the most amount of rainfall following this system. As for how much snow we see, in the grand scheme of things, whether we get 4 inches, 5 inches, 1 inch, or 2 inches, it's going to be enough to be impactful for both travel and for just day-to-day routines. Throughout the area, widespread totals between 3 and 6 are likely. I'm thinking around 4 or 5 for Roanoke and the surrounding areas, Blacksburg, Bedford, Rocky Mount. But the further north you go, the more snow you're going to see and the less ice you're going to see. Whereas the further southeast you go, the more rain I think you're going to see compared to snow and ice. But the further southwest you go, that's where we're going to see quite a bit of snow to start, but also the most amount of ice within the next few days. Now, ice and rain is going to end up flattening a lot of the snowfall we get. So while you may receive 6 inches very well in some parts of the areas in the blue, now what would end up happening is that ice or rain is going to flatten it down and make it seem like you didn't initially get as much as you might have thought or as much as might have been forecasted. So that's going to be one thing that's an issue, especially when it comes to the roads. You start mixing ice, snow. Usually doesn't end well, especially in areas like I-81, which are already bad as is. Significant snowfall, icy conditions, both going to cause concern for power outages here within the next few days, and it would not surprise me in the least if we see quite a few power outages with that being said. But as we get later on into the week, that's when the flood risk comes into effect, when you start combining snow melting along with some of that rain that's coming in Wednesday and Thursday, and then even the following weekend. We have 1 day of a break being on Friday with temperatures in the 40s before rain returns Saturday and Sunday. Happy?